Tonight on CTV News at 6, how a potential deal half a world away will likely make life easier for many Albertans. Oil prices drop on News America, and Iran have agreed to peace.
It takes some time for the drop in oil prices to sort of filter through to gasoline prices.
Ultimatum. An Edmonton area baseball team must prove to its league its ballpark plans will work.
All we want is the ongoing chaos to stop.
And job done. Hundreds of potholes filled by fed-up Northern Alberta locals.
If that road is not fixed by July, you're going to see me on the highway again.
Get ready for some more cloudy, cool, and occasionally showery weather through the rest of the week.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. A 4-year-old girl is dead after being hit and killed by a Jeep in northeast Edmonton. Police say it happened on 66th Street. They say the girl was walking with her mother in a parking lot near 170th Ave when she broke free and ran into the street where she was hit. The 23-year-old woman driving the Jeep stayed at the scene. EPS says bystanders tried to treat the toddler before she was taken to hospital where she died from her injuries. Police are offering trauma support services to everyone involved. A peace deal that would end the war in Iran is expected to be signed this Friday. A key part of that is the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, a vital shipping route for nearly 20% of the world's oil. When the strait closed earlier this year, oil prices immediately spiked, followed by the cost of gasoline. Connor Hogg is here now with more. And Connor, even though that expected deal is days away, gas prices in Edmonton are already noticeably lower.
Jeff, Natural Resources Canada shows Edmonton's average gas price today is $1.48.8. At this time last month, the city's average was $1.86.1. Energy watchdogs say it's too early to know how a successful peace deal could affect Alberta's gas prices in the long term.
It takes some time for the drop in oil prices to sort of filter through to gasoline prices. So it can take some time. And I would say that the market has reacted, but there's potential for price to go up still, too. We don't know how much oil will really come through the strait immediately.
This afternoon, we saw gas prices in West Edmonton between $1.38 and $1.43, lower than the average. Economists say it will take time for oil inventories to replenish once the Strait of Hormuz opens. Despite that, they say this is likely good news for Albertans, given the economic stress that war in the Middle East is causing. Oil prices may also bring down the provincial budget deficit, which was predicated on about $60 per barrel oil prices.
We have an oil price assumption of $82 a barrel for the year. So a $20 difference pretty much sops up that deficit.
Whether the fuel tax Albertans pay will also go down remains to be seen. The provincial gas tax rules require oil to be above $90 a barrel for 20 days to qualify for gas price government intervention. During her Saturday radio show, Premier Danielle Smith said her government had several days of monitoring left. Smith says we should know more sometime this week once her government determines where those June numbers land. Jeff?
All right. Thank you, Connor. It's Connor Hogg live for us tonight. We'll have more reaction to the proposed ceasefire deal from world leaders, including our Prime Minister, later this hour. Premier Danielle Smith says the province needs to keep up the pressure on the U.S. to lift tariffs and embrace Alberta oil and gas.
We need to let the facts and the numbers speak so that Americans understand how much they stand to gain from this partnership. And that's why I support the creation of the New North America initiative at the School of Public Policy. And that's why I appreciate your work in bringing together thinkers and decision makers across borders.
Smith spoke this morning at the BMO Centre for the beginning of the new North American Summit. The two-day conference brings together academics and the private sector to discuss an integrated North American market. Smith also says she's not sure what's going to happen with Corblund's coal petition. Last week, volunteers from the group against coal exploration and mining on the eastern slopes of the Rockies dropped off boxes of signed petitions. Petition proponents say mining puts water at risk. Smith had previously said she would be prepared to put the question on the October 19th referendum ballot. On her radio call-in show Saturday, Smith said she's not sure if that can happen.
I looked at the petition, and it calls for a legislative proposal. So I have to figure out what that means. That means that's got to go to a committee, just as the Forever Canada petition did. And it's members from the opposition as well as members from the government, and they will do the review, talk to Justice, figure out what exactly that would mean, and then make a recommendation.
The group says it collected more than 200,000 signatures that still need to be verified by Elections Alberta. The organizer leading the volunteer group filling potholes in Fort McMurray says they patched hundreds of them. Drivers say they were fed up with the condition of the only highway in and out of town. Merriman Issa has this update.
This demonstration was not a one-man show. This shows the will and the power and the love Fort McMurray has.
What started off as a protest soon turned into a community initiative.
And we hit the road by 10 o'clock with over 85 volunteers. And they're all specialized professional landscaping construction companies.
Mohammed Terabin is the organizer behind a movement to fill potholes peppering Highway 63. He says they were forced to take matters into their own hands.
After a few months of complaining and sending emails, the whole community of Fort McMurray were a bit fed up with the empty promises and lip services from the Minister of Transportation.
In a nearly 2-kilometer stretch, more than 200 potholes were filled. Terabin says it's unfortunate it came to this.
We're very law-abiding citizens. We're a bit civil disobedient as well. But my point is this: enough is enough.
In a statement to CTV News, the Alberta Transportation Ministry says it put in an accelerated maintenance plan in place and will continue repairs weather dependent. A new pothole repair work order was also issued on June 4th. Terabin says he's giving grace to the province for the next couple of weeks. However, he's fixated on this pothole by Wandering River, south of the city.
If that road is not fixed by July, you're going to see me on the highway again.
RCMP does not recommend what Terabin's group did, but have not handed out any tickets or fines. Merriman Issa, CTV News, Edmonton.
The Energy City Cactus Rats will meet with League officials tomorrow to present a plan for their future. The League says it needs a clear timeline for when the team's ballpark in Spruce Grove could open. Here's Evan Kenny.
Work continues at the Energy City Metro Ballpark in Spruce Grove. The Cactus Rats will go before the Western Canadian Baseball League's Board of Governors tomorrow. The league says the team needs to provide an update and a plan for when games could actually be played on its home field.
The patience kind of ended with the Board of Governors last week when they said enough's enough. We want to know what the plan is moving forward.
Construction on the ballpark started in 2023. The team said it would start this season last weekend under these stadium lights without fans. The first game was canceled because of rain. Now the league is demanding a clear date.
All we want is the ongoing chaos to stop.
The league told the Cactus Rats to make specific changes to the field and to come up with a concrete plan for the future. The board will decide if these changes and plans suffice. The league president did not want to speculate what could happen if the board says these changes are inadequate.
We want to make sure that the Cactus Rats are accountable to the league rules, regulations, and constitution.
CTV News spoke with upset fans last week.
It was so frustrating because they kept coming back and saying, oh no, we're going to open.
I shouldn't have had that much faith in humanity, heaven forbid. But here we are, no baseball.
Spruce Grove has issued the Cactus Rats a conditional occupancy permit, meaning 150 people can be in the ballpark at one time. The city tells CTV that only allows for the team and support staff, no fans. The league is rescheduling missed games for ballparks across the province until a decision about this ballpark is made. From Spruce Grove, Evan Kenny, CTV News.
People in Old Strathcona could soon have another place to take their dogs off leash. The Community League owns this land along Gateway Boulevard just south of End of Steel Park. Area Councillor Michael Jans says the league is offering up some of the green space for a potential future dog park. Jans has asked city staff what it would cost to put up some fencing and added garbage pickups. He believes another off-leash park in the area would be welcome.
Strathcona is a neighborhood where it's packed with high-rises, it's packed with apartment buildings, it's packed with dogs, and right now we're getting more and more off-leash complaints, conflicts with the River Valley, with coyotes, with Mill Creek Ravine.
There are 2 other fenced off-leash parks in the area, one operated by the city, another on private land on White Avenue. Council will debate adding the new dog park during budget talks this fall. The Edmonton Mural Fest is getting ready to turn blank walls into works of art. The festival brings artists from across Alberta together to create large-scale murals in Edmonton.
This year, I think we've really got some huge murals. Today, we're announcing the mural at the Citadel, the Arts District mural at the Citadel, and that's going to be like our kind of headliner mural. And I think that's something that's a bit different this year, and is really exciting because we've seen other festivals when they have one headliner, people gravitate to that, but then they're able to kind of go and discover some of the other murals.
Along with new murals, the festival has tours and activities to connect people with local art and culture. The festival runs August 15th to September 15th. All right, Josh is here now. Josh, would you like to talk about the rain or your NBA champion New York Knicks?
No, don't make me cry again. Don't make me cry.
But it's happiness. Congratulations.
Tears of joy. It is raining yet again as finally the orange and blue reign over the NBA. 25 degrees for your daytime high today, ahead of the showers that have rolled in. 9 degrees this morning, pretty close to average, 4 degrees above average this afternoon. That's just the second time the entire month that we've had temperatures above average. Everything else through that first 2 weeks, average or cooler than average. And the rest of this week, it's going to be cooler than average once again. It's going to settle back into the mid to high teens. We're already back into the mid to high teens west of the city where the rain has been coming down for the last half hour to an hour. 16 right now, Stony Plain. Still at 23 downtown, but that's going to change in a hurry. You can see the rain rolling in. We had a few thunderstorms just off to the west of the city. Looks like there's still a couple lightning strikes there to the southwest. That'll probably roll through the Leduc area. So you may hear some distant rumbles of thunder, but I think for most of the city, it's just going to be rain. Then there's a bit of a break, and then we'll see what happens with that next yellow band that you see there from Whitecourt off to just east of Edson. That was producing some pretty consistent lightning earlier. I think it probably weakens. The storms do at least before they hit the Edmonton region, but that could give us another mid-evening shower. Get to about 10 o'clock tonight. I think all of that's out of here. Cloudy skies, though, overnight tonight. And then tomorrow, it's going to be off and on showers or periods of rain and gusty. Wind gusting to about 40 kilometers per hour. Full look at your week ahead in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Josh. Still ahead, a closer look at Alberta's new rules around private health care.
Our legal opinion found that Alberta's Bill 11 absolutely does not comply with the core requirements of the Canada Health Act.
Some call for the federal government to take action against any private care. Others say something needs to change.
Something has to give because it's going bankrupt, like the system is going bankrupt.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Alberta's Hospital and Surgical Health Services Minister recently met with her federal counterpart to discuss changes to the healthcare system. It comes amid calls for the feds to denounce Alberta legislation allowing doctors to work in both the private and public systems. At least one group says it is a clear violation of the Canada Health Act. Others believe a revamp of the system is overdue.
Actually, this month is 30 years since we opened.
BC orthopedic surgeon Dr. Brian Day is a pioneer when it comes to private medicine in Canada. In 1996, he opened the Cambie Surgery Centre in Vancouver. He says his private facility has completed more than 90,000 surgeries since.
A number of months ago, I was in Vancouver operating on 5 Albertans, and a surgeon in Alberta was operating on 6 British Columbians the same day because once if you want to get out of a waiting list, you just have to cross the border.
Day calls the Canadian healthcare system ludicrous because of situations like this. He spent years in court challenging laws preventing doctors from working in both the private and public systems, and the ban on private insurance covering medically necessary care.
Every other country, including the communist countries, have that.
The BC Supreme Court ruled against Day in 2020, a ruling upheld by the BC Appeal Court. The Supreme Court of Canada declined to hear the case.
The court found not only does dual practice not shorten wait times, which was the argument made by the applicants in that case, and that's being made by the government of Alberta here, but in fact lengthens wait times and results in increased inequalities in access to healthcare.
Lawyer Emma Phillips works for a firm that took part in Day's case. She was recently commissioned by the Canadian Health Coalition to determine if Alberta's Bill 11 violates federal health legislation. The bill, passed last year, allows doctors to work concurrently in private and public systems.
Alberta's Bill 11 absolutely does not comply, most importantly because it establishes a system, effectively a two-tiered system.
The national advocacy organization that hired Phillips is now calling on the federal government to take action against Bill 11.
A lot of provinces would argue and say, well, healthcare is a provincial responsibility, but it's not a provincial responsibility when the Canadian government is actually funding the provinces, for the most part, for their health care.
In Alberta, that's to the tune of about $7 billion this fiscal year. So far, the federal health minister has been quiet on Alberta's attempts to revamp the system. Marjorie Michel met with Adriana LaGrange in Ottawa earlier this month.
We're absolutely looking for leadership. We urged the minister to speak against it. The minister says to us that they're waiting for the regulations.
A statement by LaGrange's press secretary says, "We are developing the regulations to implement dual practice responsibly, informed by evidence and engagement with a range of stakeholders. We look forward to sharing more in the coming weeks." At a separate health announcement this month, LaGrange said private surgical centres are more efficient.
Say a knee replacement, they can do 8 to 10 within a day. And yet in our hospitals, we were finding we were only doing roughly about 4.
The Alberta Medical Association says it does not oppose policy exploration, but if dual practice proceeds, it must be tightly regulated, public interest driven, and data transparent.
There is a very real risk of pulling some very skilled physicians out of the public system, and that can negatively impact the public. Particularly, we're worried about a loss of anesthesiology for emergent and urgent surgeries.
The AMA recently presented 70 safeguards to the government to help protect the public system.
One overriding committee to sort of look at the outcomes, monitor the metrics, make sure that we're actually moving things in the right direction is essential.
Day says he needs more details about Alberta's plan before commenting on it. However, he thinks the UCP is on the right track.
Something has to give because it's going bankrupt, like the system is going bankrupt.
The Canadian Health Coalition says it plans to ramp up its campaign against Bill 11. The Alberta government, meantime, insists the legislation does not violate the Canada Health Act.
Still ahead, a first-hand look at a significant Second World War battle.
Seeing that firsthand can really drive home what a war is in a way learning in a classroom or watching a Hollywood movie doesn't.
An overseas tour giving Albertans the chance to remember and learn about Canadian contributions in Italy. Also ahead.
If you see large clumps of them on the trunk of the tree, you can just take a garden hose and give it a good spray.
Look at ways to deal with clumps of caterpillars to prevent damage to trees.
Well, we're back under some showers here in the Edmonton area, and there's more rain in the forecast over the next 4 or 5 days. The heat that we had yesterday and today, that's not coming back anytime soon. Those details right after the break.
Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile. Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
With With countless tent caterpillars crawling around trees in Alberta, the critters could cause problems if they're not taken care of. Miriam Valdez-Carletti tells us how to deal with them in your own backyard.
Shannon Gadwa is geared up to take on these creepy crawlers, spraying them down with insecticide.
It does get very busy because it's a short window when the tent caterpillars are active, especially with the rain that we've been having this season. We can't spray when there's high winds or a lot of rain.
Alberta is seeing a tent caterpillar population boom. In small quantities, these critters aren't harmful, but once they start to look like this, it can be damaging to your trees.
In the large quantities, they can cause harm over time to the trees via defoliation, as well as the aesthetic of your trees through the summer.
Birch Tree Spraying says for large infestations, calling a professional is best.
We have the equipment to reach all the way up to the top of the trees and eradicate nests and eggs and active caterpillars.
But you can also take it into your own hands.
You can just take a garden hose and give it a good spray and knock them off the tree. Then you can physically just try and knock them out of the tree as well too. That does work.
Arborist Kevin Sproul says the best way to prevent damage to your trees is to make sure they're healthy.
Healthy trees can withstand a couple years of defoliation from caterpillars before you start to see any negative health effects.
If a tree is already dealing with issues such as drought, the caterpillars can leave them vulnerable to other insects and disease. The boom could last 2 to 3 years, but taking care of them now will help your trees in the long run.
Trees that we treat this year will be better next year because we're terminating the active caterpillars as well as their eggs that they're laying.
While you don't need this full hazmat suit to take care of them, you should always wear gloves when handling the insects. They're not poisonous, but can cause skin irritation. Miriam Valdez-Carletti, CTV News, Edmonton.
Well, it was a beautiful couple of days we just had. There's plenty more on the way, right? Right.
Once we get to summer, which is still a week away. Okay. After Sunday, things look warmer and sunnier consistently. That's been a fairly common sight through the River Valley Skycap for most of this month. We're at 23 degrees. That's as of 6 p.m. Once the 7 o'clock temperature comes in here, it is going to drop significantly, probably back into the mid-teens. Cloudy skies and rain falling in the Edmonton area for the next few hours. 25 Fort McMurray for a high today, 21 in Grand Prairie, 24 in Red Deer. There's the rain sliding through. It is coming down fairly heavily in parts of the city, especially just off to the south where you do have some flashes of lightning as well. It looks like most of that thunderstorm is going to pass just south of the Henday here. So if you're on the south side, you may hear some distant rumbles of thunder. We're almost at the back edge of this first wave. Then we'll get a bit of a break, and then that will likely go through the Edmonton area. So all told, by the time we get to about 10 o'clock tonight, should be off to the east and northeast. You've got some thunderstorms in through areas around Peace River. And then this band of rain stretches all the way south into the Calgary region. And you have a bit more rain in the southwest corner of the province. There is, as we said, more rain in the forecast for tomorrow. We'll start the day tomorrow with some of this rain dropping back in from the west off to the northeast. You still have some heavier rain overnight tonight and into early tomorrow morning. These will be occasional scattered showers and maybe even the odd thunderstorm. Timing on this is going to be really tough to pin down. It's really tough to say exactly when the most likely time frame would be for any given part of the province. I think the best chance for some potentially severe thunderstorms, though, is going to be midday and in the afternoon from Red Deer off to the southeast. So it's probably not going to rain nonstop all day tomorrow, but there will be showers in the area for pretty much all of tomorrow and right into Wednesday morning. Especially Wednesday morning off to the west of the Edmonton region. Wednesday afternoon, not quite as high a probability as tomorrow, but again, even then, you might see a scattered shower, and Thursday as well. Chance of some showers in the forecast. There was the upper ridge in the oranges and yellows. You see how this cooler air has now dropped back in. It kind of weakens a little bit, but doesn't really go away, doesn't really allow any warm air to come in, and this takes us all the way through now to Sunday. So you have daytime highs here in the mid to high teens for the next 3 days. We get a little bit of a drier day and some sunshine on Friday should push us up to 21, but 17 and 18 in the forecast for Saturday, Sunday. Next week, 26s, 27s by the middle to the end of the week. 23 in Edmonton right now. It's 19 in Red Deer, and Grand Prairie and Fort McMurray are in the low to mid 20s still. We'll drop to about 14 degrees tomorrow morning. We'll probably be in that range 14 or 15 here in the next hour or two, and then temperatures should rebound a little bit. Occasional showers and maybe even the spotty thunderstorm in there. Gusty as well, gusts to about 40 kilometers per hour. As we said, long-range forecast looks a little bit warmer. It's below average for most of the rest of spring, but that first week of summer should have a bit of sunshine and more mid to high 20s by Tuesday or Wednesday.
All right, thank you, Josh. Canadian Armed Forces had a large presence in Italy during the Second World War, and Valor Canada is hosting an Italian battlefield remembrance tour in November that you can take part in. Kevin Fleming reports.
Mark Illing's father was forced to flee Czechoslovakia during the Second World War and ended up in Canada. Illing has always been intrigued by those war years and how it impacted his family. And now he's going to Italy to learn about his mom's relative, who was a partisan fighter.
And he ended up dying in a German concentration camp 2 weeks before the war ended. And I just found that out just by looking up my family history after I'd signed up on this trip.
Illing is one of about 15 people who are heading to Italy for Valor Canada's Battlefield Remembrance Tour.
Where the battles took place, we'll be visiting cemeteries, historical sites, and museums along the way.
John Adams says this is the first time Valor Canada is hosting an historical trip to the European theatre.
I think having people that are connected and really feel, and see and touch, not just from a book or a YouTube video, but actually be there, will be very powerful.
Vicky Sotvet has spent 9 years researching Canadian military battles in Europe and will be the tour's historian. She also has a personal connection to a soldier in the Italian campaign.
One of them was my great uncle, Peter McGowan, and he was actually taken prisoner in Italy.
Sotvet is excited to walk in the footsteps of Canadian soldiers and see the landscape they traveled through and fought in.
When you're studying these guys and you spend so long with those individual stories, you start to feel like they're your friends almost. And I'm really excited to get to go and see where these stories actually happened and where these people actually were.
Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Calgary.
There are 30 spots on the November tour. About half are already booked. You can head to ctvnewsedmonton.ca to find more information. Still ahead on CTV News at 6, several people, including children, electrocuted at a BC water park. The scramble for answers in the Fraser Valley, and
I spoke to President Macron about a few options on Friday, and under his leadership and President Trump's and others, will look to make progress there.
The Prime Minister wants to protect Canadians from consumer price shocks created by events on the other side of the world.
Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile. Programming brought to you by K-Days. The best 10 days of summer are back.
A serious electrical incident at a popular water park in the Fraser Valley east of Vancouver sent at least 10 people to hospital today, including several children. 2 people were flown to hospital by air ambulance. The others were taken by ground from the Cultus Lake Water Park in Chilliwack. The kids were on an end-of-year field trip from a Port Coquitlam middle school. The school district says all of the students are in stable condition. While there are no details about what exactly happened yet, a BC Hydro spokesperson says there was an electrical issue on the customer side of the electrical service. And now returning to our top story, a potential peace deal in the Middle East and its impact on energy prices. At the G7 summit in France, world leaders, including Mark Carney, welcomed the news. CTV's Michael Couture reports.
Everything is very nice, thank you.
As he celebrated brokering the deal, U.S. President Donald Trump gave a timeline for the full opening of the Strait of Hormuz.
They're doing a little hunting for a couple of mines that they've already found, but it's essentially ships are starting to go out now. On Friday, it'll be completely opened.
Nearly 1/5 of all shipped oil passes through that waterway, and Trump boasted it should be flowing again soon. The UK and France are making a push for a multinational naval mission to keep the strait open. Prime Minister Mark Carney has said Canada could contribute to securing the strait, but wasn't specific.
We'll have an opportunity starting from tonight at the G7 in Evian to see what we and other countries can do to help reinforce this important progress that's been made.
For the G7 leaders, the priority is also to prevent Iran from acquiring a nuclear weapon.
First, it will fix the nuclear issue, and it's a very important matter for peace for the whole world.
Carney also underscored the importance of making global commodity systems more resilient to wars so consumers aren't affected by these types of conflicts.
I spoke to President Macron about a few options on Friday, and under his leadership and President Trump's and others will look to make progress there.
Trade will also be on the agenda at the G7, with the French president underlining the importance of working together. Tariffs do no one any good, especially between G7 countries, Macron said. Canada has that same message for the U.S., but Carney isn't planning to bring it up with Trump. He told reporters those discussions will be held on the sidelines of this summit between the Minister of Canada-U.S. Trade, Dominic LeBlanc, and U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Evian, France.
A historic Orthodox cathedral in Kyiv was badly damaged and left burning after a night of intense Russian drone and missile attacks across Ukraine. Russia denies hitting the 11th century cathedral, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, pointing the finger instead at a U.S.-made Patriot air defense missile. The monastery is said to be Ukraine's equivalent to France's Notre Dame Cathedral. 11 people were killed in the widespread attack. The Public Health Agency of Canada says while progress is being made in the opioid epidemic, the crisis is far from over. New data shows opioid deaths dropped by 23% last year, with hospitalizations down 12%. Still, there were more than 5,600 deaths in 2025. That's 15 people per day. Officials say one of the reasons for the drop is more access to naloxone.
It is fragile. We've seen a decrease for 2 years in a row, but that follows many years of increases. And the number of overdose deaths are still higher than they were before the COVID pandemic.
Deaths from benzodiazepines are also 3 times higher than before the pandemic. Those drugs do not respond to naloxone. The United Kingdom is the latest country to introduce new rules banning social media use by children under the age of 16. The UK legislation also restricts gaming and live streaming platforms.
It will make a huge difference. It will make our children safer. It will make our children happier. And will give them more time, more security, more freedom to grow up.
The plan targets platforms like Snapchat, TikTok, and YouTube, as well as gaming sites where strangers can communicate with kids. The changes go further than any country so far and could include overnight curfews and curbs on infinite scrolling for users under 18. As the Canadian men's soccer team prepares for its second World Cup match this week, the question on Canadians' minds is whether injured captain Edmonton's Alphonso Davies will be on the pitch. CTV's Andrew Johnson has more.
Now, Alphonso Davies is on the training pitch today at the University of British Columbia, a day after he hit the streets of Vancouver and met a fan who had no idea who they were talking to.
Wow, it's a great jersey. I just want to say, I love your jersey. Let me see who's in the back. You see? Yes.
The man wearing a Davies jersey didn't realize he was face-to-face with the superstar in the video Davies posted to social media. Davies remains in what's called return-to-play protocol, still working his way back from a hamstring injury. A question mark heading into Thursday's crucial match against Qatar. Will he be ready?
Fonzie, he's one of the best players on our team. He's a world-class player, so obviously to have him in the lineup would be amazing. But obviously Richie's done amazing too. Richie's been fantastic, and whoever has played in that position has been fantastic when the time in the games he's missed. So we have complete confidence in the roster.
Qatar is coming off a surprising draw against top-ranked in Group B Switzerland. Every team in Canada's group has now started the tournament with a tie. It will surely be electric again in downtown Vancouver Thursday after the city hosted Australia and Turkey on the weekend. There was a crowd of more than 52,000 inside and a mob of fans downtown on Granville Street and near BC Place Stadium partying deep into the night. But police reported only 2 arrests. Everyone pretty well behaved. And officials in both Canadian host cities will hope that trend continues. As for Toronto, the day before Canada is back in action here, FIFA returns to BMO Field when Ghana takes on Panama. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
The Carolina Hurricanes are once again Stanley Cup champions.
And they're going to clinch it appropriately with a total team effort and a shutout. The Carolina Hurricanes have won the Stanley Cup.
Carolina shut out the Golden Knights 3-0 to take Game 6. 37-year-old Jordan Staal won the Conn Smythe. He's the oldest player to win playoff MVP. Rod Brind'Amour was captain when the Canes last won in 2006 against the Edmonton Oilers. Last night he lifted the Stanley Cup as head coach. Still ahead, public health inspectors pushing back.
We're inspecting every food facility, every daycare, every long-term care facility, every swimming pool, every personal service.
Workers say a plan to move them out of Alberta Health Services puts public health at risk.
Programming brought to you by Alberta iGaming Corporation. For integrity, for fun, for Alberta.
Checking on today's market numbers, the Canadian dollar closed near 71 cents US. Oil was down more than $4, closing near $80 a barrel. Gold saw a $112 gain. On the stock market, the TSX is up 337 points, the Dow Jones up 468. Health inspectors in Alberta check everything from restaurants and daycares to drinking water, swimming pools, and the safety of rental apartments. They say a government plan to move them out of Alberta Health Services and into another department could put all of that at risk. CTV's Kevin Green explains.
The province is moving all 336 public health inspectors out of Alberta Health Services and into a new government department. On her weekend radio show, Premier Danielle Smith suggested the transfer is largely about reorganizing services.
The intention is for it to be a lift into the other department, and there wasn't an intention to reduce the numbers because we know we need them, or to centralize because there are health inspections that need to be done all over this province.
Inspectors say they'll first receive layoff notices from AHS, then be offered new jobs with the government of Alberta. The union that will represent them says there's no guarantee those jobs will be in the same city or town where they currently work.
It's hardly a lift when you're going to be given a layoff notice and then a job offer that you may or may not be able to take.
In a statement to CTV News, a spokesperson for the Ministry of Primary and Preventative Health Services said there will be no layoffs and no centralization as a result of this transition. Public health inspectors will continue serving communities across Alberta, and our goal is to ensure affected employees are treated fairly and respectfully throughout the process while maintaining uninterrupted public health services that Albertans rely on. Inspectors say they don't believe those assurances. They point to wording in a recent letter of understanding that says employees will receive conditional offers of employment and that to the extent possible, they will be offered positions in the city where they currently work. Inspectors say those phrases leave too much uncertainty about future jobs, work conditions, and pay. They will also switch from the Health Sciences Association of Alberta to the Alberta Union of Provincial Employees and say their hours will be reduced.
That will result in 130 less working hours per day, and that's the equivalent of 18 full-time inspectors. So that's like knocking out an entire team overnight.
Inspectors say fewer hours could mean fewer inspections and longer waits for the services they provide. Kevin Green, CTV News, Calgary.
The province is offering new incentives to get more people involved with foster care. Starting tomorrow, the province will triple caregiver referral incentives to $1,500. Eligibility for the Refer a Foster program is also expanding to include kinship and permanency caregivers, nonprofits, and community groups. Kinship caregivers can include relatives, extended family, or close family friends. Earlier this year, the province increased its caregiver rate by 2% to help cover the rising cost of day-to-day necessities.
These improvements are based on conversations with caregivers from right across the province, and we will continue listening to support the incredible work that they do each and every day.
Foster and kinship caregivers are the foundational infrastructure for the child intervention system. Foster and kinship caregivers provide nurturing, loving families and a life that allows children to heal, to feel safe, and to experience stability and predictability.
Alberta currently has nearly 1,500 licensed foster families and more than 2,100 kinship care providers. Rain over the past month has southern Alberta farmers optimistic for the coming growing season.
I've said it before, Mother Nature really makes our paycheck for us. So even fields that you can irrigate on a dry year, it doesn't do as good as if you get the rainfall from the sky. So it's been a big relief getting this rain that we have, and we'll be grateful to get some more whenever we get the chance.
The latest crop report shows more than 86% of cropland in the south has either good or excellent soil moisture conditions. Much of the groundwater beneath farmland has also been restored. That moisture will give farmers breathing room in July and August. Celebrates the grand opening of a fully accessible playground.
My favorite thing about it is that everyone gets to play it.
Stay with us. We've got another full night of great shows for you tonight on CTV.
The Linwood neighborhood is celebrating the opening of its new community playground. The grand opening is extra special because it means one member of the community can join in the fun with his friends. Connor Hogg has more.
We are so thrilled that you're joining us for our grand opening.
It's opening day for the new Linwood playground. The neighborhood has been waiting for this for a while, and kids aren't wasting any time navigating every new nook and cranny.
I like it down. So, with this slide, it has these arrows pointing down. It's super noisy. I really like the monkey bars. I really like the big swing because it can fit lots of people.
We're just thrilled that the kids are enjoying it today, eating lots of cotton candy and lemonade and just building memories with their friends.
Giving everyone the opportunity to make those memories, one of the motivations for getting the new playground built. This new structure is designed so that everyone can take part, including some who previously couldn't. One of the project's strongest advocates is Francis LaHaye. Francis has cerebral palsy. He couldn't play on the older structure with his friends.
When we didn't have this, it made me feel so sad that we only had one park.
It's heartbreaking because he expresses how sad he feels when he is excluded. He describes sitting in his chair by himself, watching everybody else play.
Francis and his friends took part in a lot of fundraising, alongside the rest of the Linwood Community League and several donors, raising more than $100,000 to help make the inclusive and updated playground a reality.
Seeing something like this come together where now he does have that ability to still be with his friends and now be included in the fun, it just, it really warms all of our hearts.
My favorite thing about it is that everyone gets to play it.
Now Francis can join his friends on the play structure and ride along with them on its interactive elements.
Feels amazing. Getting to be free, getting to play, getting to do whatever you want.
He also gets to know that he made a difference for his friends and generations of kids to come.
2, 1.
Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
There's a look at the rain. Looks like the heaviest of it in the yellows and the dark greens is now pushing out the east end. We'll get a bit of a break, and then there's another wave that comes in about an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on where you are in the city. By the time we get to about 10 o'clock tonight, I think that's all east of us. Tomorrow, though, back to some more showers and occasional periods of rain. It's probably not going to pour all day tomorrow, but off and on precipitation, gusty wind. and a little cooler than the past couple of days. 18 or 19 for daytime highs tomorrow, and again Wednesday. Thursday could see some more showers. We're into the 20s Friday, but then cooling again Saturday, Sunday.
All right, I think we're used to it by now.
Yeah, and summer, like we said, summer next week. Summer next week looks better.
All right, is that a promise?
Absolutely.
All right, have a good night, everyone.
See ya.